The Legend of Zelda is a series that has consistently shown that there's a profound sense of joy in getting completely and utterly lost, constantly diverting from your mission to see what lies in that specific cave over there, or at the top of a cathedral, or in that pot. The main question is though, which game in the series is best, if it's even possible to decide a winner? Number 5. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Considering the original game was released in 1993, Link's Awakening is a game that in the past was highly impressive, since it shrunk the pretty packed gameplay of Link to the Past down and put it on a Game Boy. Even more impressive was Nintendo then re-releasing the title for Switch and giving it this amazing Toy Chibi-esque makeover. Set on Koholint Island, this is probably one of Nintendo's stranger games. Only here will you find Link hopping on Goombas or winning a Yoshi doll from a carnival attraction, all the while trying to amass enough magical instruments that Gandalf would be proud. This is one of those adventures that, as much as it really doesn't seem to be, is definitely part of the Zelda canon. Number 4. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. As we were saying, this was the game that effectively was transferred to a Game Boy when the original Link's Awakening was released. Link to the Past is very similar to other 16-bit Nintendo classics too. For the time, the graphics were top-notch, and considering the game was released in 1991, it's aged fairly well. Also, no one can forget the sheer scale of the game, impressive to say the least. It was also included with the mini SNES release, so if you still want to try and play it today, there's definitely that option for you. Number 3. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Making a sequel. Seems easy, right? Well, not when you're making it to one of the most beloved games of all time, A Link to the Past. Somehow, however, Nintendo managed to, and in the process, they potentially made one of the best 2D Zelda games ever made. The ability to actually rent stuff in the world was a welcome positive, and the fact this was on the 3DS meant that you could explore a fantastically detailed stereoscopic world. This game has absolutely no filler. It's lived up to its original legacy while still keeping its own sense of that. Number 2. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD. Aesthetic? Check. Adorable character designs? Check. Realism? Anything but. Wind Waker HD proves that you don't need realism to make a game that impresses every time. Set in a version of Hyrule swathed in water, the last vestiges of society are stuck on islands dotted around the ocean. Wind Waker HD has some of the best dungeons the series has to offer too, and there's even some story ties to Ocarina of Time. The game does suffer from some padding towards the end though. However, overall, this port to the Wii U, a console that I personally loved, had some amazing additions and changes that made this game just that little bit special. Number 1. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. You knew it was coming. Breath of the Wild was a game I played in an exclusive First Look Switch event, and it still leaves memories with me to this day. It's meticulous in its specificity, and it reinvents and simultaneously takes the next logical step for the Legend of Zelda series. The game basically sets you loose in an unfamiliar world to fend for yourself. It is, in a word, breathtaking. End of. No arguments on that one, I think. This is a game that sent shockwaves through the genre, and if Breath of the Wild 2 is better, well, let's just say it'll be extraordinary. What did you think of our picks? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.